Hello, everybody. This is the second podcast of the Maintenance Guys. I'm here with my fellow maintenance guy, Soren from Denmark. And we have a guest today, and that's Dineke. And Dineke is from Holland. Hello, Dineke.
Hi. Hi, Robert. Hi, Soren.
So we have a topic today, and that topic is letting go of hierarchy and old structure. So there's a lot going on in the community here in Mexico, maybe also in the United States, about we're gonna do things different with hierarchy, with structures, and it can bring up a lot of stuff. And Dineke, how was it for you, this shift? Can you say something about it?
Yeah, I think it's an answer to a deep prayer. But when it happened, I was at first, because I've been kind of in like overseeing the center here, and and then when it shifted, like the direction came of like, we don't have house overseers anymore. Nobody's like really leading the house, but it's we pray together. I could feel a lot of joy because I felt also like, wow, that really kind of that frees me up, and like in my mind of like, I'm not responsible but on my own, and I think I never was, but maybe I thought I was. But so at first I felt a lot of joy, but then the next day we had a morning meeting, and then it kind of hit me where I was like, oh wow, so that means nobody's really, or I just, those thoughts came up like, oh, nobody's gonna listen to me anymore. or I don't know, if I say something like, oh, I think this is what should be done, other people may be like, no, I don't feel that. And so it really means the guidance can come through other people. And it was pretty deep. I suddenly felt so small and so insecure and very, very, very vulnerable. And then I had a call with a friend, and she said like, this seeming role of leadership or overseeing, it's been like the wind beneath my wings for a long time. And I could see that. I was like, I could see like, wow, I'm actually really grateful to that it was like that, and that it served. I could see it was really a gift for me, because I'm kind of introvert, maybe like more on the shy side, like not somebody maybe who takes the lead or is like, okay guys, let's do this, or so. Really so much. I could see like I've been given so much permission, like, no, trust what you feel, like over and over, trust what you feel, what you hear. And if reflections come up of maybe resistance from, then just stay with what you feel. And so like so much encouragement from my older brothers and the ones who went before me, and so felt really grateful for that. And then my friend also said like, but it's maybe become like some false fake security, false sense of security, like, okay, I can grab onto that, like, okay, I've got this role, and I don't know, like a false sense of security of like, oh, but if I say something, people will listen to me because I'm in that leadership role. And so, but I don't know, I could still, at that first day felt kind of rocky, but then I also felt like, well, actually it's very gentle. And it's just really an invitation to still really speak when I feel something, and still, I don't know, speak up when I hear something, or share what I feel, but not anymore from a role of like, oh, I need to come with something, or a role of like, you need to listen to me because I'm overseeing here. So it's, yeah, really, I think the answer to the prayer is like in that softening. Like I want a softness, and letting go of that role like makes room for this softness and the equality. And yeah.
Yeah, beautiful, Dini. I'm kind of here for 2 years now, and for me, you often were like a leading figure. Like I came here for the Tabula Rasa workshop, and you were already the leader of my cleaning team, and this kept on going. Like you became the overseer of La Casa, and it's very symbolically. But my mother's name also was Dini, so you have the exact name of my mother. And I remember when a few weeks ago this vibe came in the community of letting go of hierarchy, and I heard Dini say, I don't really want to be a leader anymore all the time. And I got sometimes like in a panic, it was like sometimes in the mornings I looked at you and I thought, oh Dini, come on, tell me what to do. And I saw this look in your eyes like, no, I'm not going to tell you what to do. And if I look at the parable of my life, I was always more like a follower, like in factories or construction sites where I was working. I was most of the time in a following position. So I kind of feel, it's a bit my comfort zone. And for me, a lot has changed lately. I come back to that later. Soren, how was it for you the last weeks? Did things for you change?
Yeah, actually, there was a change because I'm living with Marcella, who is also overseeing a house. And so when she kind of stepped back from being the leader, like what Dini was talking about, it kind of brought up this, in many cases that I felt the prompt to step in, to begin to, holding the space for people when they were expressing. And it was, I actually feel it's very beautiful, to deal with hierarchies in this sense, because hierarchies is really the ego's domain. Ego always talks about differences and power, who has a power, and what can you do with power. And many, like you says, that people actually want somebody who tell them what to do in many cases, and otherwise it doesn't get done. It's like you can't just say, I'm not gonna lead anymore, and then somebody else will step in. It's not gonna happen, normally. But I think this process that is going on now within our community is to begin to be more sensitive to what you're prompted to do, and what feels like your contribution in the moment, and begin to see we all have the capability to listen to the prompt from the Spirit, and to begin to take responsibility for things in the moment. I think that's very beautiful, but it's really a high mind training kind of thing. It's not something that is coming automatically. It's like, oh, you have to be reminded again and again. Now, didn't you feel it? Didn't you have a prompt? Or I can also feel on Marcella sometimes, that this, I'm not gonna tell you what to do anymore, and the whole house is going through this kind of restructuring where people begin to offer their support for the whole, so to speak. And I think it's really beautiful, and it creates this sense of equality, and also that everybody is kind of present, which feels very alive.
Yeah, thank you. A while ago, I was not in such a good space. I felt a bit quite on the depressed side. I didn't have a lot of body energy. And then all these things started to happen in the community. You could feel this vibe coming. Hey, the hierarchy and the old structure, we're going to do things different. Also, Ken and Nana arrived here, and they are quite energetic people. They are used to take a lot of initiative. I could feel like Linda, she takes a lot of initiatives. And at a certain moment, I felt like if I want to be happy here or even stay here, I really have to clean up my act. So I did a number of things. I dropped the cigarette for a while. I decided to go for short bike rides to get more energy. And every morning at 6 o'clock, I'm in the Halo room to do exercises. Because I really felt like, oh my God, I really have to, do something. And I remember one day I was going on a bike ride, and I got this really dark feeling like I don't really take initiatives. I'm not an organizer. I don't know how to do these things. I never really did. And when I came back from the bike ride, I thought maybe I'm a little bit too hard on myself. Of course, I do take initiatives. Maybe it's not so clear as other people do it. But I think I went through quite a change in a few weeks, just taking the initiatives that I can take, because I also had a talk with Linda, and I said about this being expansive. I don't want to force myself, I don't want to go and do all kind of things that I don't really back up. So I'm doing it in my own tempo, and I feel it's really going better. And what is also important for me is when I feel that the people around me take a lot of space, take a lot of initiatives. And sometimes I can get a little bit irritated, like okay, they decide about everything, and then I had this prompt, like, you can try to change them, you can try to put a brake on them, but that's not gonna work. You will have to step up yourself. You can't ask them to come down. You have to go up yourself, and if you want to be happy here, I am responsible. If I want to be happy here, I am responsible. Nobody's going to do it for me, It's not how it works. So yeah, I definitely feel less fear, because I come from a different position than the two of you. I'm more used to be a bit more submissive, more following, and that's kind of a bit my starting point. So in the beginning, I felt really scared when I heard this. Yeah, we're letting go of hierarchy. I felt kind of safe there in that comfort zone. But now I see it's actually quite fun to, design more my life here at La Casa, and not only look what is Dini saying, what is Linda saying, what is Ken saying about the garden, but also to take my own initiatives. Yeah, it does feel good. Yeah, and I sat down yesterday to. I met Soren at Quantico Wednesday, and I stood next to you, and you said, "Robert, did you prepare already the podcast?" And I thought, "Oh no, I didn't." But okay, Soren is kind of higher in the hierarchy, and he's quite a big guy. So I thought, okay, tomorrow I'm going to sit down and try to prepare something. So I sat down with pen and paper, and I thought, oh my God, this is a drag. But okay, I wrote down a few things, and then the prompt came, like, in heaven, there is no hierarchy. And this is also what Kenneth told me. He said, when other people tell you what to do, it's not good. You think, oh my God, these people always tell me what to do. And when you have to tell people what to do, it's also not good, because you think, oh, I always have to lead. I always have to tell these people what to do. Oh, that doesn't feel good. So basically, we are not that happy with hierarchy, because in heaven, where is our natural state of mind, there is no hierarchy. We are all one. So,
but it's really a step up. As you're talking about, it's really a step up in your own mind to see. I deserve to have my place here, and I'm as much worth like everybody else, and hierarchy is always covering up worth, right? I'm not as much worth as she is, because she is the overseer, and it's just interesting to begin to look at these habits we have about hierarchies.
Yes, interesting. Well, I think I was always, like naturally comfortable in following, but I don't know, it's somehow for me tied, like what keeps coming to mind is this other prayer I have, like, oh, I want to let go of attack and defense. And I don't know, at some point I had a thought of like, wow, would it be like to live completely without attack? And I was like, wow, that would be that's so different, because just watching like how much attack there is, and even tied into that, oh, if somebody's telling me what to do, I will do it, but there can be attack thoughts. I think there was a lot of that. Maybe if there was, I remember I was like making music, and could feel very threatened by a conductor or something, like this kind of hierarchy figure. But I never really had a job with a boss, or like working for a boss. But I and the funny thing was that I was kind of proud of that. Like, oh, I'm never gonna work a 9-to-5 job, or like that's the worst, or kind of having this self concept of being. Yeah, I think you said that a bit before we started, like independent, or but then actually when it was COVID, then it was hard to have work making music. So then I started, but it was very gentle. The Spirit like gently got me into this company, which was a little orchestra, and it was first a few hours a week, but then I actually liked it, and it started to grow, and I was working for a boss. But it was a really beautiful experience, just supporting, like not being on stage myself, but just supporting, and then and then here it's just been just so beautiful watching, like this, I don't know, this kind of, because I have been like in a team, like supporting like with the administration for the community, just like really listening or following, supporting the ones over the team. But at some point just feeling like, but it becomes this mind merge, and it almost like, the roles are still there, but it gets more into this equality. And I felt that had very much to do with, letting go of this attack and defense also in my mind, of like, oh, they asked me something and I don't know, I did it, and then they said like, nah, I don't feel like quite, like a lot of washing of attack and defense.
Soren, I remember that you came here to the community, and I remember that I was here in the community with it was all women and me. I think Suzanne Husilak was then the overseer, and I remember that you came here, and I remember that you came to lead the expression session at lunch the very first time. And I remember you did it very different than Susan. And I was kind of new here. And I was so upset, I remember, like, what is this guy coming to do? He does everything different than Susan. And I was very upset. I think I even told you in that lunch, like.
I remember, I came into La Casa here, when Susan was here, and I was supposed to support her as the overseer. And then suddenly I became the overseer.
Yeah.
And that was totally new for me. I hadn't imagined that I would be in that position. And I have to say, I didn't know what to do at all. I didn't know how I could use my skills for that, because I didn't have those skills at that point. So for me, it was, I think I survived simply because I had a good steward, that was really, she was really good at, stewarding. So I could relax somehow, just, be, friendly to people. So for me, to go in to be, a leader and make decisions, it's very stressful.
Mm-hmm.
So this new direction, I can feel doing this house overseeing with Marcella, it's not stressful because there is this prayer going on all the time with the other people and with Marcella. And so I feel, to be this leader, that was, say, do this, that. It doesn't really fit anymore. So.
Yeah, Benny just jumped on my lap. He also wants to be in the podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, Benny, how are you doing? Oh, there he goes again.
Yeah. Do you have any prayer for where you want to be, with this new structure? You're kind of building yourself up, what are you building up to?
Well, I haven't been praying about that one really, but I think it has to do a lot of being faithful to myself, to who I am. And at a certain moment, a few weeks ago, I thought, why don't I feel good? And then suddenly I got this prompt, like, I've always been a very physical person, doing quite extreme sports like cycling races, bodybuilding, football, judo, martial arts, all that kind of stuff. And now I'm here 2 years and my body went quite down, I don't work really hard like in the construction or in the factory. The work here is, not that tough. And I decided, like, okay, I have to do something about that. So I started to take initiatives to be more energized. So I feel better in my skin. And maybe function-wise, it's also good to keep looking around, like what would, activate me, energize me to do. Mm-hmm. Like now Kenneth is here and Nana, and we are building up the garden again, and I'm working a lot outside, and that really feels good. So I want to keep looking for things that feel good for me, that bring me in a good energy. That's but I think I have to pray more into it, like what would I like to do? That's very important. I
remember at one point I was so tired of because I have been in the studio team here in the community. I've been there for many years, and at one point I was falling asleep, and while the streaming was going on, I was just, and it was like it was not interesting anymore for me. It was, and I think everybody felt it. And so at one point I just said, I think I want to do something else. And then I suggested, I would like to make a bamboo table.
Hmm.
And then because at Quantico they had a lot of bamboo and they needed to cut it down. So I was allowed to do a bamboo table full time, and it was the most happy period of my life. I could just kind of have my vision of that table and go there and do all this. It was really an inspired idea, and it really took me up. And then I suddenly that felt inspiring to go green on the monastery,
Yeah.
and it took me up like that way,
Yeah. So all of these changes kind of bring us to, we have to vertically align with the spirit and see and pray and listen to what comes in, instead of just looking at Dini, what she will tell me to do today, because she doesn't do it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just so beautiful that just this idea of like, oh, we don't have to change. Like we can just be exactly who we are with our whims and I don't know, inspirations. And yeah, I feel that's really a gift. Like now is really the time to let it all up, and everybody's gifts are like you said that too. It's yeah, it kind of like the only way is if everybody starts to bring in their gifts, and then let the spirit come through like that. So, and we can't judge like, oh, it needs to look a certain way because that's a bit how it's been in the past, or is that we can't even judge like, oh no, that's not what we do here, or that's what we do. But it's like if it's inspired and it comes from this prayer. And yeah, I
just remember we saw a movie the other day together with David, and it was a movie about A Course in Miracles. This German guy had made this movie, and in the movie David was interviewed, and I remember in the end of the movie he said for him to practice A Course in Miracles was to always look for the gift in the moment. Always look for the gift. When he met people, what is the gift? When he was doing something, what is the gift? Always look for the gift in the present moment. I was very inspired by that.
Yeah, it's also very visible here in the community La Casa lately. It's like people just start to do what they feel inspired. Like Linda loves it to walk around and make the flowers on the tables more beautiful and put a little statue here and something nice there. She's really activated by that. And you see Ken, he loves to inspire everybody about the garden, and that's really his quality. Even people of other houses come here, and we have these swirls. That's a big word nowadays in the communities, the swirls, where you do things together, and he's really activating everybody, and Nana also to build a beautiful gardens, and so we all do our thing. Yeah, and that's what Dini just said. Just to be yourself and do things that I love to do. So I thank both of you really for this podcast. Thank you, Dini, for being our guest. Thank you, Soren.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. Thank you, Dini.
Thank you both.